Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Belfield talking to some of my favourite people and some of the world's biggest stars, and we've got one for you today. Denise Van Outen, how are you?
Oh, I'm very well, thank you, darling. How are you?
I am delicious, but I'm not as good as you because you seem to get better with age. I saw you in the papers yesterday. You look stunning right now, both inside and out.
Thank you very much.
Are you very happy? That's what it seems to me.
Yeah, but I've always been happy. I think, I don't know, thank you for the compliment, but, yeah, I don't know. I just think probably as I've got a little bit older, I sort of take care of myself a bit more, I suppose. 40, I was like, right, that's it. I've got to start really taking care of what I eat, what I do, how I behave, all of those things.
You're so clever how you manage your career, because there was a point where you could have gone off the rails and been one of those Katie Price types that's really known for nothing. You've always had this leading lady quality about you. Your voice is second to none, I've told you that before, but you did some TV shows which, let's face it, were a bit crap.
I've had a few turkeys, let's put it that way.
But also that they were things that were sort of aimed at a youth market, and I get why you did them, and they were right at the time, but when you turn 40, you sort of want to be credible, and you've managed to do that. It's testament to your voice and your talent, isn't it? Because that's what's got you through.
I think it's just I kind of went full circle and went back to where I started out, which is doing shows and singing, and actually that is my passion, and I think at the end of the day I'm sort of drawn back into that world because it's what I actually love doing. And also TV now is very different to when I was on telly in the 90s. It really was that sort of ladette culture, and all of us of that around that time were all doing TV shows like that. You know, there was The Word was on, and you know there was all like the late night post pub crowd shows. So yeah, and when you're in your 20s, you just want to be cool. You don't care about what you're actually doing unless people think you're cool. And as you get older, you think, actually, do you know what? I want to be. I don't need to pretend to be cool anymore. Try and act cool. I just want people to see what I actually love doing and what I feel is my strength, and that's what I do. I like performing.
And of course, in those days, the most important thing to you was having fun, which you clearly were. Now, of course, the most important thing is raising. But now, of course, you're a mother and your priorities change. The 90s, how fun were they on a scale of 1 to 10? I mean, was it the best time of your life?
They were off the scale.
Were they?
It was so much fun, yeah.
And now, of course, here you are with this new play, which has had great acclaim. Some girl I used to know is coming into the West End. It just opened up north and basically had its national opening to universal great reviews. It's always a risk, isn't it? When you do something yourself, it could be slated and you could be finished. That's not happened. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Well, the thing is, I wrote the show for the audience and not for critics. Fortunately, I think people that kind of, I've got a bit of a following probably from other theatre shows that I've done, and I think once they've watched it, it is what it is. It does what it says on the tin. It's not an arty piece of theatre. It's not trying to be anything, you know, pretentious, and it basically is a really fun night out with lots of laughs, and there's a few tears in there and some great music. And yeah, it was well received. People liked it, and that's more important to me. Any critic that goes to see a play or a musical, they're going normally with the intention to something generally. So yeah, I've just been very lucky that there is an audience that buy tickets and actually love it. So it's much more of a pressure when it's something that you've co-written and it's your own baby, so to speak.
Seems like the West End's having another transition. It did it about 10 or 15 years ago. Not a lot surviving right now. Not a lot is doing well. You've been around the houses. What's happening in the West End? Is it in a good place?
Do you know, it's difficult. They're massive productions, and there is a huge pressure, and it's expensive for a night out in the West End for those type of shows. You know, if you're going to go and book for the family, it's travel, your ticket, and dinner, and all those things. It's an expensive night out, and I think that's probably hit the West End for that reason. It's become a bit of an issue, but they're massive productions. They, you know, they've got big sets, and before they've even started, you know, it costs the producers a lot of money, and I think that's why with my show it's all very simple. There's only me in it, so I don't, you know, it's not a massive set or anything. It's all set in one room, and yeah, and I'm doing a limited run. I decided to do that because I know how fickle it is now in the West End, and I'd rather just do a short run and sell than do a long run and then, you know, get pulled. The show to be pulled, which, you know, is the worst thing for any actor. And unfortunately, a lot of my friends you know, get their notice, they open in a show, they have all the excitement, like, and I can't sing, and then suddenly it's closing. But that's just part and parcel of the industry.
How personally do you take that now? If something doesn't go well, or if somebody says something not nice about you, I mean, you're forever in the papers. You're one of those people who sells. Are you as hard as nails now, or do they still get to you?
You wouldn't be human if things didn't upset you. I'm more affected, not normally by people talking about my appearance or anything like that. It doesn't really bother me. But if it's something to do with my family, you know, my daughter, anything like that, then obviously I take it very personally. And I think that would be the same for any mother. How
do you stop them taking pictures of you, or is that impossible? Do you just have to give it up?
You can't, because they just sit outside my flat, to be honest with you, most days. So, and they pick and choose what they choose to print. Like, they photographed me the day before that in a tracksuit, looking absolutely awful and hungover, and I thought that will end up in the papers, and they haven't run the picture. So, you never know what they're going to put in.
Is there a fine line between being popular and they want your picture and being harassed? I mean, I wouldn't want anybody sat outside my house watching me and they've got nothing to photograph.
The thing is, I can escape it, because I've got a place in London, my little flat, that is like my crash pad for when I'm working, and that's where they tend to sit. But my actual home is out in the country. I really have it there, which is why quite often, you know, I'm there and I'm with my daughter, and that was one of the reasons for moving out of London and being far away, so that I don't have to deal with that. But I've got to be honest, it's become the norm for me, really. It's what I've been used to for years, and it's part and parcel of what I do. You can't have it both ways. You know, I can't expect to do my play in the West End, have an opening night, and invite the press along to take pictures, and then there's to be some interest in, you know, what I'm doing outside of work, because I understand this business, but I do also have to protect things that are private as well, you know, as a mother and everything. So, yeah.
Have you got the dream life now, in a sense that you're still here, you're still current, you're still relevant, you're 40 and fabulous, people respect you for what you do professionally? You've sort of beat the system, haven't you? Because so many come, but most go.
I just like working, and I don't really know what the reason for it still being around is, really. I think it's just because I actually genuinely, hand on my heart, passion for what I do, and I think that sort of carries you through. I love doing theatre shows. I really enjoy it. I get buzz from it. So, yeah, I think it's a lot to do with that, really. If you love what you do, why should you stop?
Do you realise how good you are at it? I mean, when I mention the phrase leading lady, I know it's probably overused, like the saying legend. Everybody's a legend these days. But when you look in a mirror, I mean, you were very blessed. I'm a deeply unattractive man, ginger hair and nothing downstairs, quite honestly, Denise. You've got everything physically. You've got everything vocally. You have been blessed. You appreciate that?
Be lucky, but I don't know. I think I'm lucky. My physical appearance, I don't think about that in that way. Do you know what I mean?
Because I always wonder what beautiful people think when they look in the mirror, you see, because I've never had that. I've never turned heads.
When I look in the mirror, I see, sometimes I look so dog rough. You want to see me in the morning, I look terrible. Terrible. Listen, half the time when people see pictures of me, I've been made up, or I've had someone do my hair, and when I'm just at home and I'm slobbing about, I look awful. I'm a minger. A right old minger.
And you really believe that? I mean, are there days like me when you just don't want to leave the house, or are you confident now that if they want to take you and you haven't had your hair done, so be it, que sera?
Listen, I stayed indoors. It was a beautiful day yesterday, and I stayed indoors all day yesterday because I had a hangover. And I felt so rough. So, of course, I have those days as well.
Now, are they getting rough as you get older? You sometimes find the 2 vodka and tonics can take more of an effect than they did 10 years ago.
It takes me ages to get over it. It takes me, like, I was out Saturday night, so probably I won't feel normal until tomorrow. Good couple of days.
It's an amazing life you've got, and you're going into the West End. Is that better than touring? I mean, this show really deserves to be seen across the UK.
Touring's hard work, and also I've got a 4-year-old daughter. So actually, when I'm in the West End, I will be able to do the school run and do the shows in the evening. So for me, that's, it's just nice to go home to my own bed.
Yeah.
And to be able to spend my time with my little girl as well. On the road is really difficult. I mean, it was tricky trying to juggle everything. So yeah, so it is nice to be home.
And of course, I look now at show business in 2014 and when you started. It's very different. Everybody seems to have to be on a reality show now to have one single and then we never hear of them again. Do you wonder what reaction you would have got if you'd have gone on something like X Factor? Do you think you'd have got through?
Probably not. I don't think so. I don't know. If I'm really honest, I'm so impatient that I probably would have walked out once I joined the queue. The thought of sitting there waiting for all those hundreds and hundreds of people to go in before me, I would have left.
The last time I spoke to you, you were doing the Capital Breakfast show. You're now on Magic doing a radio show there. Is that a nice medium for you? I mean, you certainly don't need hair and makeup to do radio, do you?
I love my radio because I like at Magic. I love the music that I can play, and it's just once a week, and it's like I like it because I feel like I've got a proper grown-up job because I've got a swipe card to get into the building. So when I got my job there, I was like, they gave me a swipe card to get in and out of the building, and I was like, this, for me, I feel really grown-up and responsible. So that's what I enjoy about my job, and I love the music. It's great.
Have you got one of those classic stories where even though your name's on the front of the theatre, they don't let you in because you've not got your security badge? Have you ever had that happen to you?
Yeah, that's happened many times. Yeah.
I love all that. And of course, Loose Women, we saw you on earlier on in the year. Any chance of coming back to that? Because you're perfect. You have an opinion.
I don't think so, because I just did it as a one-off, as a guest sort of panellist. But I don't think so. I love the programme and I think it's great, but you have to talk about your private life too much, and I don't like exposing myself in that way.
It's a shame, though, because you're one of the few people who, if you ask a question, you'll answer it. The PR sort of world stops everybody having an opinion about everything, and that show sort of encourages it. It's a good vehicle for you to sort of reach your audience.
I'll probably get myself in trouble. I say all the wrong things. I think the more I keep quiet, the better, really.
I've made a career out of it. Don't worry about that, Denise. Listen, I'm going to let you go. It's so nice to talk to you.
Thank you.
I'm really looking forward to coming
to you again.
No, it's my pleasure. The show opens in the West End. I'm going to be there at opening night. It's Some Girl I Used to Know. It's starring Denise Van Outen. No other cast, because they're not necessary. I say, if you've got it all, you don't need a cast and ensemble around you, do you?
I'm just greedy.
Yes. How needy are you for that round of applause? I mean, does it give any affirmation at this point, or are you over that?
It's always a nice feeling. Yeah, you do get a buzz from it, especially when you've worked hard for 2 hours on stage. It's nice to get a little bit of a good, pleasant reaction. You
have one of the best voices in the business, and you have something you can't buy or be trained, which is stage presence. It's always magnificent seeing you. It's no wonder that you're a Broadway star, and back in the West End is absolutely the place for you. The show is called Some Girl I Used to Know, and it opens this summer. Thank you so much for talking to me again. See you on opening night.
Lovely to speak to you. Take care. Thank you.
Bye, Dan. Ta-da.
Bye.